know a man. His face seemed pulled and tense, like he's riding on a motorbike in the strongest winds. All right, we got ourselves Dice versus Vani, Week 4 of the GSC Invitational. Winner's side. So I'm trying to cover all the winner's side because I know it usually doesn't get enough love because too many losers are losers. Dice knocked out Society in round 1 and then Gare Oak. And Vani beat Medea, really strong player, formerly known as Descending, whatever. And also Ruby Blood in round 2. So we have two polar opposites in terms of playstyle. Vani, who very often relies on stall, but like the fattest kind of stall, not necessarily the high compression kind, the one with like two spinners, but like a fat heel bell or something like that. And then we got Dice, who is known for just like he is the epitome of off the wall building, not just in GSC. Like Gorgie is one of the few people that can probably hold up a candle to his level of just left field building. So more or less it's going to boil down to how Vani can adapt to this. Dice is one of the most difficult people to prep against in Gens 2, 3, 4, 5. He's probably best in 2 and 5, but he's also a beast at 3. So, yeah. Let's see. We got Zap. Zap versus Cloy. Cloy going to come in on that switch from Dice, but Dice goes to Nidoking, forcing out the opposing Cloy. Gets an early Thief off. The reason why Vani switched and didn't attack is because he wanted to get spikes early, something I don't blame him for. But Dice is a madman, so he has Thief. Is there going to be a counter? No. No freeze either. So Dice is a man that's known for running 2 spikers. Like, I've literally seen him run 2 spikers once. Cloyster, he's just... There's no telling what he can do. Like, if you think you've seen it all, Zap deals 32. Vani is also one of the most consistent players. He's done so well in past tournaments. Like, so many team tours, he's just done amazingly. So, like, back to back. We got Mean Look Gengar gonna secure a KO here. We're gonna find out. Of course, this part can be tricky because Snorlax could stall out, theoretically. Destiny Bond. So you have to click Paris Song here. But there's always that odd chance that the Lax is EQ and that it clicks it while you click Paris Song and then the Lax escapes. But that usually doesn't happen because of mix-ups. So Dice taking out the Lax, opening up the Team 2 special offense for one. But Jinx on Vani's end has Thief, so there are Thief on both sides. Cloy. The world is your cloister. So Vani going to be the one to get spikes up first, meaning he has a shot at even just exploding straight up. That is what he's going to do. Doesn't quite take out the Cloy, but it's gonna die here because it doesn't have enough HP. There's like a small chance that it has like just above 12.5 HP, 12.5%. We don't know. A lovely kiss putting the Lax to sleep, but Dice has a Sleep Talk Lax. Ooh, and a crit. This could be bad for Dice if it doesn't go well. He gets a rest. And, we're already 20 turns in. Steelix So I'm just going to comment as it goes, and unless I do remember something in particular that I want to say right about now. But for now, what we can say is that the Nidoking is looking rather strong. Never mind. Shit level commentary from me. No, it's too soon to tell. Maybe an exchange between these Zapdoses can influence the outcome towards a clearer path. It's been a while since I saw this game. I apologize. I really apologize for the dull commentary. Let's see. Steelix. I just don't have much to say here. I don't know. Roar taking out the Cloyster, sure. And now Nidoking is on life support here. Goes for Ice Beam. Secures some damage on that Lix. And it's almost looking like game one. Vani has an advantage, but T-Tar is scary so far for this team. Vani looking like he might have a Gengar in the back. Was that a misclick? Rock Slide. T-Tar dodges a Lovely Kiss and manages to Oko the Jinx. The Oko is guaranteed as long as it lands. And now the Gengar can't really break the Tar. Wonder why it was only Ice Punch. If it only clicked Ice Punch and it didn't attempt to Dynamic Punch, then I can only assume that that was a mean look Gengar on both sides. So T-Tar managing to clutch out the game there. 1v4ing Vani's team, which is pretty incredible. Just a reminder of why this thing is a top 5 mon. So we're going to move on to game 2. It was kind of unfortunate there for Vani, I'd have to say, because he could easily have landed the Lovely Kiss, and with that, been in a good position to perhaps take out the Lax as well, with what we can only assume was a Devon Gengar with Perish Song, and then follow up with a Steelix Boom or Earthquake or something. So that kind of blows. We're going to go to game 2, see if his luck is any better in this one. If not, he will be sent to the loser's bracket. Don't fret. There's still a shot. Cloyster and Eggy. Cloyster-Eggy is a very interesting interaction in that sometimes you might choose to run Miracle Berry. I mean, it's not that you choose to run Miracle Berry if you see an Eggy. You choose beforehand. And sometimes in these counterplay, counter team situations where, counter teaming is high at high level play because you want to get that much of an edge on your opponent. Then Cloyster could say, yeah, I'm not afraid of sleep leads. So at that point, the only thing forcing Cloyster out turn 1 is a Zapdos, and you can probably say that you are safe to just go hyper aggressive. It doesn't always pay off though. So here Cloyster recovers and the Eggy stays in, prioritizing damage, because using sleep powder on a Cloyster means that you waste your sleep. If it's not Miracle Berry, of course. But that also means that Vani's free to click Boom, has the spikes advantage, and Vani decides to stay in. So Snorlax is free to set up here, and going to Cloyster would be a bit of an issue with the spikes and everything. So the only other viable play would be switching out, but Dice decides to stay in. Deal some damage on that Lax. Might just sack the Zapdos. We don't really know. Goes to Gar. Vani, is he going to make the prediction? No. +1 is a guaranteed KO, but does he want to stay in this time around? Dice instead decides to click, switch to Cloyster, and good job on Vani to set up. He could click again. Of course, Cloyster is in range here, 2-hit KO range, and it hasn't even spiked yet, so it's going to spike here. For good measure, Vani just tries to cover all options with Earthquake. And this is looking like the Snorlax can take out at least one other Mon. Dice making a very, very good double switch. Just after the KO, you'd think he might revenge kill. No, he switches out again. This happened to me versus Phoenix. I was so upset. But at least Vani took out 2 Mons before that. So the dynamic punch came in clutch there, but at the very least, he's been giving Dice a run for his money. Technically, he would be up a Mon, but in reality, this Lax is looking like it's dead. Yeah, it is dead. Unless some roar, unless they spin and some roar shenanigan happens. So in the meantime, Heracross comes in. Steelix is a good, decent counter to Hera. And we see Hidden Power Ice from the Zapdos. Now, Vani's choice would be between either attacking or doing something and spinning. He's going to spin, but Dice successfully spin blocks. And that's a really hard call to make because Golem could click Earthquake. It would be a huge prediction in that specific scenario. But reminder that Gengar gets 1-hit KO'd by all ground stab, besides maybe like Nidoking, I think. So that was a really hard switch in to make. Really good on Dice's end. Of course, he does stay in, but now this Golem is going down. For sure, if it switches out, it's dead. It's dead to spikes. And Dice managing in this process to actually secure the KO on the Lax as well, just for good measure. But also, this makes Vani's life that much harder with Heracross having to come in and make some fancy switches on the Zapdos, the Steelix in the Zap, and it's a really tough matchup right now. And I don't know, like this is how Vani builds. He does these things that are just very he has this weird and unique spin on stall. Logic would have it that it would be a double electric, and then lo and behold, there's a Skarmory. Skarmory, Raikou, Hera isn't unheard of, but it doesn't. It's like spikeless stall, or maybe it's with Blissey. I can't even remember right now. But it's not common at all. And here we have this fat team again that can, stalls typically struggle with mixed offense, or they struggle at preserving themselves because they don't have a win con or they don't have the spikes or something. So Vani going with a very atypical build. I could do a whole video on the way Vani builds stall. But I feel like I don't even know enough. So this Raikou gets paralyzed by switching into Thunder, meaning it can be outsped by Steelix now, which is very dangerous because this Steelix can really, really put Vani in a bad spot. In fact, unless he can chip the Steelix, this is it's free reign for it to just stay in. And here we see one of the issues with certain kinds of stall, because not every matchup is the same. And I suppose you could argue Double Electric would have also struggled with Steelix, but at the very least you would have had another Mon that can attack Steelix and chip it down. With Skarmory and Hera and Raikou, Steelix has a really good shot at just sweeping. Zapdos, of course, is nothing to be what's the word I'm looking for? Scoffed at. Yeah, nothing to be scoffed at either. So he has Sleep Powder, which is nice for the likes of Steelix, but Seismic Toss, which is nice, but it also means that he's gonna have a really hard time breaking this Zapdos, and Dice can kind of just fish. And then the next opportunity he has, he can just bring in the licks. So this is looking pretty bad. This is looking like Vani might get sent to losers. Unless something can happen, he can pull a hat trick. So I'm just speeding it up a bit. Pardon me if I skipped 1-2 turns. Alright, we see what happens. Seismic Toss. Alright. Again, sure. Not that many hits are being thrown by the Zap. But then again, not that many Sleep Talks have been used. So with Hera down, it's in 2-hit KO range. Vani preemptively clicks Rest, but that also makes it even more of a sitting duck. Or bug. I mean, if anything, the duck is the yellow bird there. Known for their extremely violent reproductive habits. In comes the true predator of a duck is some sort of domestic cat or dog. Crit on the Raikou. Steelix with the smuggest of grins and the largest of chins. And now here we see the first roar where the slower roar wins. This is the first one in the game, and perhaps even in the match. In GSC only, in no other generation, when roar is slower, it wins. They fixed that immediately and patched it out in Gen 3. I mean, it's not really a fix, it's not really a malfunction, but in Gen 3, if you try to pull this off, you will fail. The faster Skarmory will phase out the slower Skarmory, usually, with Roar. But we already see Steelix is setting up, and now Raikou cannot stay in. I mean, Vani would have to pull off so many different predictions. So what's going to happen here is Steelix is eventually going to take something out. Could take one Mon out, could take two, probably not more than two if Vani plays perfectly. But at this point, it's more so a matter of what Dice wants to take out. If it takes out Skarmory, then he can use Snorlax to win. Potentially. We don't really know if it's Curselax. It is asleep, but it'll wake up. If he takes out Heracross, I think that's the least favorable if he were to take it out with a Boom. Instead, he can probably just take it out with an Earthquake. It's maxed out attack. So yeah, now if he were to take out Raikou, then he can win with Zapdos. So yeah, that's pretty much it. He's in a perfect position here to just win, and with this many attack boosts, he can probably also just explode in Oko Skarmory. So he's just trying to phase out, rack up as much damage as possible before Vani is forced to stay in or do something and just lose a Mon. And at that point, then Steelix can boom and after. So he doesn't want to boom. Dice doesn't want to boom yet, but this game is his. Vani attempting anyways to try to phase out the Steelix, because if for any reason Dice just clicks something else, then Vani would gain an opportunity to win again. But this is Dice's game to lose. Like, there's just no possibility of losing, honestly, at this point. The only thing I could possibly see happening is if Vani forces the licks to boom early somehow, but no. So if for instance he booms on Skarm, Raikou could maybe double crit the Lax or something. Then he could 1v1 the Zapdos, and the Steelix would already have boomed at that point. So yeah, that's the only possibility at this point, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. So it's not Hidden Power Water. This team is a bit awkward, honestly. It's having a very hard time dealing with a pretty standard offense plus Exeggutor. I don't know. Feel like it's a little bit too susceptible to Steelix. Like, had it been any other normal resist, Vani would have probably been just fine. Okay, maybe not just fine, but still. So this Raikou, as you can see, is going down soon enough. Clicks Thunder. It doesn't matter. He's just giving in. But a very valiant effort from Vani. Again, cannot be underestimated. He did amazingly in these past 3 team tournaments. And there is the explosion 100% on a normal resisted and crit. Very satisfying to look at. Let's see that again. Even my cat enjoyed it. She meowed in approval. Alright, here's the money shot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. Alright. That was pretty cool. Alright then, so Dice will be moving on to the next round. And he will probably be facing one of the other players in the winner's side. I won't mention who they are in this video. But if you enjoyed, please subscribe. Thank you.